Where can you find iconic handbag styles from some of the most talented new designers? At baglady.com, they have women's handbags from totes to crossbody bags, shoulder bags, wallets, wristlets, and backpacks too. Stylish hand-selected bags in vegan leather, canvas, and crocodile prints. Get 10% off right now using the exclusive Nicole's View 10 discount code. Go to baglady.com, that's bag, B-A-G, lady, L-A-Y-D.com for beautiful bags and affordable prices. Baglady.com, details in the description box. Make sure to stop by the website BlackArtTees, only on Etsy.com. 100% black and female owned. We proudly create uniquely beautiful natural hair art t-shirts and African-inspired products. We don't do cookie cutter. Want the same old, same old? We ain't the one. Want to stand up and stand out while doing it? Let BlackArtTees be your voice to tell the world that you are black and unapologetically. So, be bold, be fierce, be you, naturally. Be heard without saying a word. Make sure to stop by the website BlackArtTees, only on Etsy.com. Details in the description box. Check out the first novel in the 4-part book series, Highfliers, by first-time novelist Zori Maxwell, called Highfliers, the Book of Trina, a story about a high school loner named Trina Jackson, whose life is turned upside down when a series of fated events leads her into the path of Highflyer, a young college sophomore, Derek McNair, sparking the beginning of an unusual friendship and bond between them. Journey with them as they spend a year dealing with the inevitable death of Trina's mother, first love, heartbreak, loss, and racism in early 21st century America, in this coming-of-age tale of a black girl's journey into womanhood. Available for sale now on Amazon and BarnesandNobles.com. Download the first 2 chapters for free today. Make sure to check out the book Highfliers, the Book of Trina, by author Zori Maxwell. Details in the description box. Check out the book Grandaddy by author Cavis. Grandaddy is a close-up view into the distant past and back again, a stream of generational consciousness that slows to show the story of a lone black family in white America, from the fiery era of sharecropping in the South to the deathly cold industry of the modern North. The reader will migrate in heart and mind along the span of 3 generations, finding ourselves finally close to how we came to be today. As lived by a lone family torn between time and place, this book tells the closer story of a greater reality, that of the Great Black Migrations, from a racially segregated South up to the equally fragmented northern states, and what was lost by a people along the way. Make sure to check out the book Grandaddy. Details in the description box. Hey guys, it's Nicole here, back on this Tuesday night. I hope you guys are all doing good out there, and welcome back to Nicole's View. So, I meant to speak about this Saturday, or let me put it this way. I tried to speak about it on Saturday, but I was having some issues with my live stream and the audio and the input, output, and all that, but I figured it out. Yesterday, so we're good to go. So look for me to do a possible live stream sometime this week or maybe this weekend. But I'll let you guys know. I'll put out an alert. Start doing that again more consistently, so you guys know what's going on and when I go live. So anyway, Jeffrey Epstein, we all know he was found dead in his jail cell from quote unquote a suicide. And he attempted to, quote unquote, kill himself, a couple of weeks ago. And, in my opinion, it's all too convenient for me. I personally, I don't believe this man did this to himself. And even if he wanted to commit suicide, I can definitely see them just saying, you know what, let's go ahead and just help you out with that. But there's so many conspiracy theories that are being thrown around. I can only say what I think may have happened. It's not factual, but it's just how I may feel about it. Because we have this man here, this billionaire financier, who literally had allegedly girls, and more girls for days on end. He was connected to some of the most biggest and powerful people in the world. So this man, let's say, had not a graveyard. This man had probably an ocean of all kinds of just atrocious, degenerate skeletons. Okay. And with that said, I was watching ABC News, I believe it was like a night or two before they found him dead. And I remember them reporting that all these politicians that were connected to him, and even, was it Prince Andrew from the royal family over there, across the pond, so it doesn't surprise me that this happened this weekend, finding him dead. Whether he did it or not, we should have all saw that coming. And some folks even theorize, I don't even think he's dead. Some folks believe that. They think he's, somewhere on one of his islands somewhere. And I can see that happening, and then he comes up 20 years later or so. But, I'm more prone to believe that either he did kill himself, or someone did it, or they helped him just off himself. Anything is possible. But I want to know, are they going to continue to look into all of this now that he's gone, or is this just going to fall silent once he's, buried or cremated or whatever they do with him? Or are they just going to silently settle with all his accusers, and then we're just going to pretend like nothing happened? Because I feel like that's what is going to happen. Okay? I believe that. They're just going to settle with all his accusers and pretend like this didn't happen. Although we know this should not be the case. But when you have someone at that stature who was allegedly doing all these things, and all these folks connected to him, what do you think? It makes more sense for him to be gone. It makes more sense. And the Daily Mail, they're always pumping out articles and the latest this, the latest that. Now, this is one of their articles. I think it came out last night. But what they're saying is that moment Jeffrey Epstein's body was wheeled into hospital in vain attempt to revive him, as it's revealed guards didn't check on him for hours, and his cellmate was mysteriously transferred the night before he hanged himself. Interesting. It just really starts to look like, yeah, this was possible, probably planned out. Maybe they let him say, you know what? We won't do anything to you. You want to do something to yourself? Go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it. We got the order. Go ahead and do it. They're saying, the dailymail.com, photos of Jeffrey Epstein's body being wheeled into hospital moments before he was pronounced dead have emerged, as it is revealed corrections officers had not checked on the pedophile for several hours before he hanged himself in his New York jail cell. The disgraced financier was wearing an orange jumpsuit and what appeared to be a brace around his neck when he was pushed on a gurney into the New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital on Saturday morning. Paramedics appeared to be trying to revive ashen-faced Epstein with CPR after he was found hanging in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan on Saturday morning. It has since emerged that Epstein had been left alone in his cell without being checked on for hours, despite guards being required to look in on him every 30 minutes because sources told the Washington Post. The 66-year-old should have had a cellmate, but the inmate scheduled to move in with him was mysteriously transferred on Friday, just hours before he killed himself. I'm just not believing all that. That's just, what a coincidence, right? Yeah. Investigators are still looking into why Epstein, who had previously been on suicide watch, did not receive a new cellmate and how he was left alone and unmonitored. So this is pictures of him being wheeled in. I'm sure most of you have probably seen it and whatnot. And it is going on to say, wow, imagine being that person gonna take his body out. Let's see. His exact cause of death has not been released, but New York City's chief medical examiner, Dr. Barbara Sampson, said an autopsy was carried out on Sunday. She said it produced inconclusive results that required further investigation. Right. Sampson said a federal prosecutor was aware that she allowed a private pathologist, Dr. Michael Baden, to observe the examination at the request of Epstein's lawyers. A source told the New York Times that Sampson was confident Epstein died by his own hands. Right. The private pathologist, Dr. Michael Baden, was the city's chief medical examiner in the late 1970s and has been called as an expert witness in high-profile cases, including by the defense at O.J. Simpson's 1994 murder trial. Sampson said having a private pathologist observe an autopsy is a routine practice. It is not clear if Epstein's body was going to be released or who was going to claim it. It is also not clear who represents him and his estate. NBC's Tom Winters said on Twitter that he'd been told suicide remains the presumed cause of death. It is not uncommon for a medical examiner's determination to be pending further information. All right. The former financier, 66, was found hanging in his prison cell shortly before 7 a.m. and was rushed to a nearby New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The news of the delay to the autopsy results comes after a source told the New York Post there was no video of the moment he died in his jail cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center. Just more proof that this just sounds like a pure setup to me. All right. Cameras are said to film the doors to each cell, which would show anyone who entered or exited, but they do not point inside. How convenient. Once again, how convenient. There's no video. The cellmate he's supposed to have mysteriously goes to, some other prison or whatnot. And then you have this. It just looks like it's a setup. I'm sorry. The two prison guards who failed to follow procedure and check on prisoners every 30 minutes were working extreme overtime shifts to make up for staffing shortages around the time of Epstein's apparent suicide, a prison source said. Just more garbage. Okay, they knew Epstein was in this prison. Okay, they knew he was high risk. Why on earth would you take him off suicide watch, take out his cellmate? There's no cameras. Suddenly, all the prison guards are busy. I am not buying this at all, folks. Not buying it. Sorry, too convenient. Everything just lines up perfectly for him to do this or someone to do this. Okay, continuing. The prison official said that the Metropolitan Correctional Center's special housing unit was staffed with one guard working a straight day of overtime and another who was working mandatory overtime. Okay. Let's see. Every 15 minutes, guards are required to make another check on prisoners who are on suicide watch. Exactly. The decision to remove Epstein, who was possibly, exactly as I just said, the most high-profile inmate in the federal jail system from suicide watch, was both baffled former wardens and veterans of the federal prison system alike. Yeah, because it looks like it was some shady something going on. Epstein had been placed on suicide watch after he was found a little over 2 weeks ago with bruising on his neck, but he was taken off the watch and at the end of July, and therefore wasn't on it at the time of his death, the source said. A separate source revealed to dailymail.com that Epstein actually told prison guards and fellow inmates that he believes someone had tried to kill him in the weeks before his death. Yeah. And this is where, if this is true, this is where, okay, he didn't kill himself. Okay, somebody else did it. Because you don't have no prisoners around. He's high profile, no cameras, no nothing. Nothing. Okay. All right. Yeah. The insider, who had seen the disgraced financier on several occasions during his incarceration at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, also claims that the normally reserved Epstein seemed to be in good spirits. There was no indication that he might try to take his own life. You hear that? No indication, folks. The source told dailymail.com, from what I saw, he was finally starting to adjust to prison. I think he was comforted, by the rigidity of his new life. His death comes 2 weeks after he was hospitalized following what may have been an initial attempt to take his own life. And as you remember, on July 24th, Epstein was rushed to the hospital under police guard after he was discovered semi-conscious on the floor of his prison cell in the fetal position. He spent several hours receiving medical attention before he was transported back to jail. It has not been confirmed whether Epstein attempted suicide or whether he may have been attacked inside his prison cell. The news that guards failed to follow procedure and Epstein's fears of being a target come amid growing outrage that the pedophile escaped justice and his alleged victims may never get closure they so desperately needed. And it just goes on to talk about the former Manhattan U.S. Attorney General explained that guards generally remove any prisoner placed on suicide watch from the special housing unit where Epstein was housed. The unit separates inmates such as accused offenders from the general population for their protection. All right. And it just goes on to say, so it seems that Epstein was in the special housing unit, but not recently on suicide watch, which according to BOP's suicide prevention program, requires removal from the SHU, he tweeted on Saturday. Okay, so that was the end of that article that, I'm going to read. Now I'm going to pivot to this other Daily Mail article, which basically describes this man's little black book. Okay. We've seen many names pop up in it, but I'm just wondering, is the FBI and your government and these organizations and whatnot, your Me Too and all that garbage, are they going to keep on top of this? Are they going to finally, come out full blast like they did with everybody else? Are they going to do that? Okay, because according to the Daily Mail, the FBI files are revealing that Jeffrey Epstein had 301 Britons in his little black book, including Mick Jagger, Tony Blair, and Richard Branson. Okay, this is what they're saying. Jeffrey Epstein's little black book contained the names of 301 of Britain's richest and most powerful people, including Sir Mick Jagger. And Mick Jagger is no surprise. Folks have known about this man's escapades with young girls going back to the damn 60s and 70s. So no, I'm in no shock about him being on the list. But they're not going to go after their own like they will us. Like your Cosbys, your Kellys, your Jacksons. They're not going to do that. Okay? Because the ultimate goal is to make the black man the monster of Me Too and, everything imaginable. So they're not going to do that. But here they are telling you the folks connected to this man. Okay, Mick Jagger, Tony Blair, Sir Richard Branson, Prince Andrew, and his former wife, Sarah Ferguson. It was claimed today. The American pedophile cultivated an extraordinary cache of more than 1,000 phone numbers and email addresses for hundreds of famous names across the Atlantic. Epstein is said to have written down 16 phone numbers for his friend Prince Andrew, including a mobile number and landlines for Sandringham and Balmoral, where the prince once invited him for a visit. And excuse me if I'm saying those words or names incorrectly. I am not shocked in the least bit. This is only the tip of the iceberg. Trust me, there are other folks on there that you wouldn't believe is in that little black book, but they're just hiding it from you. There, let's see, are almost 18 numbers for Andrew's ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, who once had a £15,000 debt, department, paid off by Epstein. Or maybe that is debt. Paid off by Epstein, according to the Mirror. Ex-British Prime Minister Tony Blair is recorded once, while his former cabinet minister Lord Mandelson has 10 numbers recorded, including one marked direct line, one marked home, and one marked country home. Other names and numbers in his book are also said to include Sir Mick Jagger, Sir David Frost, Richard Branson, Naomi Campbell, and a number of members of the House of Lords. Okay, other royal connections in the list includes Charles Althorp, meaning Charles Earl Spencer, Princess Diana's brother, and Rosa McConson, the late princess's best friend. Okay. So all of these people that listen are British. You notice they threw in Naomi Campbell in there. The book is now in the hands of the FBI, but there is no suggestion that the people named were involved with Epstein's crimes, and many have never or will never meet him. Something like that. Anyway, continuing, a spokesman for Richard Branson said previously Jeffrey Epstein has the island next door to Necker, but Richard has literally only met him once for about 5 minutes. That's the extent of it. You see, it's funny how, most of these people, more so these men, how, they're in his book, but they never met him. It was just only one time, a few minutes. Nobody's stupid. Okay? We get it. You guys want to pretend you had no connection to this man. Please. Epstein also kept another diary with the names of over 100 recruits from areas where he had residences, including New York and Palm Beach, Florida, as well as Paris. Prosecutors believe he orchestrated a network of students who were lined up by other young women and then forced to satisfy the hedge fund billionaire's wishes. Epstein's private island was raided by the FBI last night. More than a dozen agents arrived on speedboats at the luxury Caribbean property dubbed Pedophile Island. It came only hours after high-flying friends of the disgraced late financier were warned that they should not rest easy. U.S. Attorney General William Barr vowed the probe would continue despite Epstein's suicide at the weekend. All nonsense, all garbage. Let's see. A tourist filmed the law enforcement officers wearing the yellow FBI logo on their backs arriving at Little St. James, the 72-acre U.S. Virgin Island retreat Epstein bought 20 years ago. When we looked harder, we could see the FBI logo on the backs of their shirts. It didn't take long for us to realize they must be conducting a raid on Epstein's house. And then here are some more photos of the royals, the connection to them. Yeah, nobody wants to pretend like, oh, we didn't know about nothing. We didn't know him. Okay. Yeah. And it just goes on to say that claims have been made that underage girls were used as sex slaves and repeatedly abused inside a temple on the island. Meanwhile, Mr. Barr vowed to continue probing the alleged sex trafficking of underage girls, despite the tycoon killing himself in jail. His comments will heap further pressure on Epstein's close associates, including Prince Andrew, who has been accused of having sex with one of the sex slaves. Yep. Mr. Barr's intervention comes as, let me see if I said this right. Bashiling Maxwell, a former friend of Andrew's and Epstein's ex-girlfriend, hinted that she planned to totally disappear. And I bet she will. She will, one way or the other. She will. Dead or alive, she will. Some reports suggested that the socialite, daughter of the disgraced late tycoon, Robert Maxwell, had started to cooperate with the FBI in her alleged recruitment of girls for Epstein. Her current whereabouts are unknown, of course. She said that she planned to totally disappear and not say anything. A source close to Miss Maxwell said, "Isn't it just how convenient that these folks are able to just disappear? No one knows where they are. You know, they can kill themselves. I mean, they can do any and everything. But when it's you, there's no wiggle room. There's no, you know what, maybe I'll get on the closest jet and just get the hell out of Dodge. There's none of that for you. Because they're locking you up the moment that they can. Just ask R. Kelly. Okay, so it just goes on to basically rehash what this man did, the folks that are connected to him, talking about the suicide and whatnot. And, you know, we're not surprised. We're not surprised. So I think you guys, for the most part, get the big picture here. Okay? You get the big picture. You know, with whether he was dead or alive, talking about Epstein, these folks will still cover up for him. They're gonna do whatever they can. They're gonna settle with these folks, and that's gonna be the end of that. So, you know, something else will come along, get folks' attention. This will all be eventually swept under the rug. You know, the presidential election will be around the corner, and it will all but forget about this. You may hear lawsuits being paid out, but that's going to be just about the most that you're going to hear. They're just putting on the front right now. He, you know, quote unquote, killed himself not too long ago. So they're just going to, you know, just kind of play on that for a bit, and then they'll distract you with something else. So you know how they do. We know how they do. Anyway. But I'll keep a close eye on it. You know, anything is possible, but, you know, I feel like they're just going to eventually cancel all this, pay these folks off, and everybody will be happy, because that's mainly the ultimate goal here, you know. But yeah, so you guys let me know, you know, what you think. Do you think he committed suicide? Do you think he was killed? Let me know in the comment section. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Hey guys, it's Nicole here, and I thank you for your viewership. Now, do you have a business of some sort? Do you have a clothing line, a shoe line, hair line, books, music, movies, heck, your own YouTube channel you want to promote? Well, let me know. Email me at NicoleLewisForChange@gmail.com, where I offer a low monthly fee for you to run your ad on my pre-recorded videos. Also, do you just love what I do and want to show your support? Well, support me on Patreon, PayPal, Venmo, Google Pay, Cash App, basically any and everywhere. So show your support for the new Black media and all of our endeavors. Thank you so much. I'll see you all in the next video.